Hello y'all, I thought I'd do a quick video on the fire and an upgrade I've made to it. Cat's in a bit, slightly better, a bit more light there, but we can't really see her. I think she might be pregnant, so we'll keep an eye on that. I must admit I do want some more kittens, but anyway, a good friend of mine gave me some replacement panels from his fire. Now these are from a Danish company called Heta, H-E-T-A, and it cost €300 for him to get the bricks replaced. They were cracked and the glass was replaced as well. That was 200 plus 100 to get it fitted. So I said, yeah, be a pal, save those panels for me. And I've been able to kind of gerrymander them in. The sides there, panel across the top, one up the side. You might be able to see that it's angled. That plate that's at the back was originally the top baffle. The existing top baffle is the twin of that, but full longer because that one got broken. The rest is just a mishmash, and I'm very impressed. I actually bought a gimbal the other day. I was about to use it, I just kind of gave up with it. It's so much easier to just hold it. Doing something like this is not particularly demanding, is it? So I'm getting that'll be up to, there you go, 300 there, 310. This is the great thing about this fire. Unlike, say, more modern fires, which are typically round and have got all these brick refractories inside them, you can cook on this. So, you know, I've got cooking stuff laid out here, and you can have, you can fry a chicken on it, you can have a casserole, like a pressure cooker, boil water. I've gradually begun to, you know, teapot, pressure cooker, big casserole dish. There's a kettle there. These kind of fires are so practical in that regard, whereas a modern fire, orange peel is great, by the way, to burn, to get a fire going. They have nothing on the top apart from, you know, it's just convection, and you can't really use it. This is cast iron. It'll just be a stainless steel plate typically. A lot of modern fires are round, but some are still square. But basically, you get some refractory heat, some convection. But with this, honestly, I'd find it hard to go to the fires that I say I wanted to buy a Heta, which is a good mark. You know, this Danish fire that my friend has got. I would struggle losing the top plate. Seriously, because once you've cooked on it, you don't want to go back. Now, you don't want to give up that luxury. If I just quickly take the special Godin tool, this is a Godin ECO, and if you can see the slightly Frankenstein, perhaps not, but you get the idea of the general shape of it. The top side of that baffle plate, which is somewhat blackened compared to the underside. But now you see I've got no air on that at all. That is a big log. That is probably 40 centimeters long, and you know, just fits in. But you can run it with the air off completely. And the advantages quickly of having this all packed out with this very good quality what do you call it, vermiculite compared as opposed to perlite. This is a part of it that's fractured. Here's another or piece. Now the rest of this is what I've made. I made this about 2 months ago. That's my friend's. No, it's not. It's one of mine. And I made it for the Joe tool. And I'm going to make another one because I didn't let it dry enough. I didn't let it cure properly. But that's with perlite, plaster Paris, clay, crushed brick, ash from a fire pan, from the dust, you know, wood ash. So the advantages of this are you use less wood, you get much more heat out the front of the glass. So this is a selling point of modern fires that you'll see like this. These brick like you get for what you put on, you get a massive amount of heat out the front glass. Now this doesn't have flashy secondary air. It's just got air coming in through this clean glass kind of technology, between quotes, that they began to use to keep the glass clean. You can see actually a couple of traces there of where the screws are. So, but it's great. So you get more heat for longer with less wood and a cleaner burn, and almost no loss in the heat of the top plate, but more from the front glass as well. Probably at least, sitting here now feeling this, at least twice as much heat out the front. Getting on for 3 times maybe, with not much of a drop on heat here. When that flame licks that top plate, I get up to about 380. We've got this will be rising because I've only haven't long put that log on, but cast iron, 90-degree bend there. Is it 173, 175 degrees. So much colder, this one. All right then, well, that's the Godin ECO, and I can see why they're popular fires, because you can cook on them, and you can make them so much more better by fitting them out with refractory brick. And if I did a proper job, I would, I want to see if it works. Basically, I'd use something like this, which is refractory cement essentially, very heavy, like for €10, and kind of make it a bit more permanent, but actually it's holding up surprisingly well. This is the second reiteration, the second layout of it all, and I expect that log to last. It's like 5 o'clock I put it on, it's 10 minutes ago, 2 hours. Compared to a like a Paulden mass, which they call in English what do they call them? Like a wood burning fire that holds mass. Well, you have to charge it up. You've got to put quite a lot of wood in to heat the appliance. You could have a 4,000 kilo mass typically, and you've got to have quite a lot of wood. Whereas with this kind of thing, you can, I mean, you've got to be there feeding it. Which is what they say is the advantage of a Paulden mass. I've got the name in English. You don't have to be there. You load it up and you get the slow release of heat. However, if you've got an old house like this, it's not particularly well insulated, or you're only heating one room, one area, and the other zones remain cold, so the temperature is going to, a pile of mass is not going to cut it. You know, it's like radiated heat, letting that heat out slowly, warm to touch, but you know, it's not, no, that's no good. You need, ideally, I think, you can have with this setup like it is now, I could have a combination where behind that flue, I could build a brick chimney once I knew where the layout was going to go for the toilet and the bathroom. Build a brick chimney in place, permanent structure with a bypass, you know, so you could ignore the chimney when you light it. And you get the radiated heat from the fire, and you get the stockage of heat in the big battery. You kind of get the best of both worlds. That's what's kind of like, but say, you know, architecturally, I've got to design, I've got to basically move that room, which is a toilet that's just, there used to be a wall here. I mean, this was all completely walled off with a doorway in line with a window. So it's opened up, but it needs to be redesigned, and kind of like I go with it where the chimney is. Now that flue originally went down into cellar and runs an oil-fired boiler. So it's, do I condemn that oil-fired boiler to history and say, because I want to save the planet, because because of that crap, basically, I'm going to say, yeah, that oil-fired heater is scrap, even though it's a Weissman. It's fantastic. If I'd had that, if my parents had had a boiler like that in the 1970s when I was 10, it would have been like great, you know, just luxury. A 2-meter high German Weissman boiler, fantastic. Now it's just sat in the basement in 2026, you know, 45 years later. The boiler itself is probably 2000, from about the year 2000. So, you know, technically it wouldn't have been invented. Obviously we had oil-fired central heating when I was 10, but in 1974, but, you know, they were kind of like, the boilers were not as good as the boiler I bought with this house. That's never been used because, well, what's the point really in spending €2,000 on 2,000 litres of fuel oil in a house that's, when I bought it, I mean, it was really bad. I took some stuff to the dump yesterday for a friend of mine, and some of the things she was throwing out were 3 wicker chairs, and I said, well, do you know what, that one's knackered. Yeah, I'll take that. I should have broken up all of them, because yeah, well, it's cheap heat. Anyway, I shall see you later. Bye from me, bye from the cat. Have a good day, have a good evening. See you next time.